For generations, scientists, philosophers, just about everyone has pondered how we became human. From primitive monkeys to tool-using humans with a complex society, how did it happen?
Many people think that fire was the first technology. There was this Greek myth that the Titan Prometheus gave man fire, and as a punishment, he was chained to a rock and had a bird peck at his liver every day.
Wait, but why would giving man fire be a bad thing? So people believe that fire was the first technology. So when Prometheus gave man fire, man would feel as the creators and gods themselves.
For a long time, humans also believed that fire and cooking was what led to the expansion of our brains. Because the act of cooking would help break down our food and sterilize it, so we didn't need to spend a bunch of calories to digest it. This way we could get more nutrients and calories out of our food and use less calories in the process. This would give us calories to spare, which meant that we would have enough calories to grow, empower bigger brains, which now takes up to 20% of all energy the human body uses.
Recent studies show that our brains started expanding before fire was discovered, so there must have been another reason why our brains started expanding. But a new study conducted by Dietrich Stout suggests that for the same reason that humans believe that fire may have led to the expansion of our brains, hand axes and flintknapping may have as well.
Flintknapping is the process of shaping a rock in a controlled way into a stone tool, which is usually a hand axe. The rocks usually used are flint, obsidian, chert, dacite, or other rocks high in silica.
The tools that they used for flintknapping was basically hammerstones and billets. So these were actually used to knock off flakes. See, if you find a rock that's actually just a regular rock, if it doesn't have certain angles and you hit that thing, you don't have a long flake coming off. Today we know that there are certain angles that you have to follow to be able to take off these really long flakes. And it has to do something with the Hertzian cone. If you took like a BB or a rock and you threw it at a high speed, let's say a car glass window, when it hits that window, it knocks off a cone. That's called the Hertzian cone.
You can make a hand axe by getting flakes off of the rock, making the edges sharper. You get the flakes off by hitting the rock in just the right way, so the pressure travels through the rock and makes flakes slide off. Ow! As you can see, not only is the rock sharp, but the flakes are too. There are not many rocks that are good for snapping, but when you try to nap a bad rock, it either doesn't break, shatters, or breaks in an unpredictable way. But when you use a rock that is good for flintknapping, it's amazingly sharp. Here's a demonstration of how sharp it is. The yellow string is nylon. It is super strong, but with this I can cut it easily. Not only does flintknapping require precision, but it requires focus and planning too.
People look at how advanced tools are nowadays, but what they don't realize is that tools have changed humans just as much as humans have changed tools. This is an example of a phenomenon known as coevolution. Coevolution is really a big idea. Evolution is adaptation to an environment, but as one species evolves, it changes the environment for another species. Then as that other species adapts to the new environment, it changes the environment of the first one, and each species evolves with the other. The same thing is true of tools and humans. As early humans started to make tools, those tools changed the environment that those humans were in, and the humans then were capable of making more advanced tools which further changed the environment. So the humans and the tools have both evolved together in a form known as coevolution. Dietrich Stout and his colleagues did some really interesting work where they did brain scans of people before and after an experience doing a lot of flintknapping. And what they found was that when people studied flintknapping, when they actually started making those same tools that our primitive ancestors made, they stimulated the same parts of the brain that differentiate us from our monkey ancestors. It's also fascinating to note that the parts of the brain that are involved in flintknapping are the same parts of the brain that are actually used in language. Again, another component that distinguishes us from our primitive ancestors.
Language is a hugely important factor of being and becoming human. Though humans are not the only species that has language, we definitely have the most complex. Almost every time you interact with another human, you communicate with language. Language has integrated itself into the human race and is now a vital part of our community. Think about all the great things that we have accomplished that would not have been possible if we did not have language, such as rockets landing on the moon, submarines going deep down into the ocean and discovering new life, the invention of the light bulb, to small and simple accomplishments, like finishing the dishes. Flintknapping may have led to language, planning, even bigger brains, all of which are vital aspects of being human. It means that flintknapping may have led to a lot more than just toolbox.